your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Hey, Jill. Congratulations on your son getting into the college of his dreams and a full scholarship, too. Yes, we are so proud of him. You know, I have to be honest. I'm a bit worried about our daughter getting into college. It's so competitive out there, and I feel overwhelmed with where to start. I completely understand. Listen, I felt the same way. And then I met Dr. Gina of Education Prep Centers. She put a plan in place that helped our son stand out in the admissions process and that gave us a peace of mind for how to create a financial roadmap for his future. Wow, that's great. Sounds like I need to give her a call. Yes, she definitely helped our son find the perfect college, meet all his deadlines, and help us feel less anxious about the whole process. You need to reach out to her. Just check out educationprepcenters.com and set up a complimentary assessment with Dr. Gina. You'll be so glad you did. Education Prep Centers, college admissions made easy.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Okay. There we are. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Jobfather, Jobseeker Network Radio, sponsored by Joco. You guys see that JOCO over there, upper left-hand quadrant? That stands for Johnson County Community Radio. Guys, here's the deal. We are streaming radio all over the United States, actually all over the world. And we are a podcast, and you can see us guys on YouTube. So also the show will be taped. So later on, you guys can go to YouTube, pull it up, and see what we talked about today. So Dana is on vacation today, guys. And guess who's standing in for Dana? My buddy down there, Nigeal Fisher. And you guys, Nigeal is an HR director from a long time ago. I met her in the job search, and it was right before I think she went to Waco, which I was real excited about because all you people in Waco that are listening to right now know that I am from the Waco area. Yay, Waco. I'm probably the only person that gets excited about going to Waco. But you know what? Not just going to be with us. She is an HR director, guys. She has just started a new job, so we are going to congratulate Nigeal, and I'm going to let her tell us all about her new company. It's guys, it is a job back in healthcare, like Allegan, and I'm going to let her tell us all about the pharmaceutical company that she went to work for. And here's what I want to tell you guys a little bit about Joco. Okay, so here we go, guys. I want you to know that. I can't get my thing to work. Okay, there you go. Okay, Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County. Well, it's actually the voice of a lot more in Johnson County, guys, but we are in Johnson County, hence the Joco. And it's live 365, guys, on TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose how you're going to do that. The Joco Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and iOS devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. You guys remember that? jococommunityradio.com. It's pretty easy. This episode and more are brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, who is a buddy of mine, Nona Reed. Let me give you her phone number because she wants you guys to give her a call. You got to make that insurance work. We got to find out the details of our insurance and what we can expect. 844-839-4245. Okay, let me do it again. It's Nona Reed, guys. 844-839-4245. All right. We got her done. And we always start off this show, guys, with a prayer. And we'd appreciate it if you would pray with us. Father God, we're all looking for a job. This show here, Father, is to give job seekers good information that they need to know while they're looking for a job. The job search has changed so much. And we thank you for the opportunity to bring these experts to you. And Anissa is here looking for a job. So we pray that Anissa gets her opportunity from this very show, if it's your will. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. I see Maz is with us. Oh, my good. Hey, Maz. And, Cindy Copeland, a longtime friend of mine from South Lake Focus Group. I met Cindy at South Lake Focus Group, and she's with us as well, and many others, I'm sure. Guys, chime in, ask your questions as we go. Don't be shy. Okay. So, hi, Nigeal Fisher.
Hi, Foster Williams. How are you?
I'm good. Guys, if you missed Frisco Connect on Tuesday, Nigeal was our speaker. And what we like to do, what Nigeal and I like to do, is talk about those. It doesn't have to be controversial, but you know what, guys? We can get the salaries and the whole makeup of the salary of a new job. We can get that if we're bold enough to get it. We hear a lot of things all the time about salary and all that stuff, and we're timid, and the world makes us timid. But you know what God says? Hey, be bold in me and move forward. And guys, you'll be surprised what is out there, especially now. The companies have a little bit tougher time finding the right person. There are dynamics that we didn't have before. Good morning, Sharon Luckage. I see you. And you know what? Nigeal is a wonderful person to talk to us about that kind of thing. But first, See my finger one right there?
Mhm.
Okay. First, we want to talk to Nigeal about her new job and what her new company is and what you're going to be doing and all that stuff, Nigel.
So, well, I'll say this new job, same title, new company, right? HR director for Arenio Pharmaceuticals. I'm excited about Monday is the first day. They're excited about me. We've already been going back and forth about emails, and the position is an amazing opportunity, and I'm excited about it. Taking over part of Canadian operations or supporting Canadian operations as well as client groups in the UK and in the US. So it's keeping me global and it's going to keep me busy. And this time I'm going to focus instead of on manufacturing, more of the clinical side of the business. So it'll be something different, something old, something new, something blue, you know, all of those
Right.
things. But I'm excited about it. And I'm excited about the team. They have great energy. So
Yeah, and you know
that's
what
Monday.
Nigel's going to be doing, job seekers? She's going to be sharing opportunities in her company with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
We
my
may,
opportunity is 100% remote, Foster, which I'm excited about. So,
you know, I didn't know that. You know, with
yeah.
your job, I'm sure you're going to have to go and visit every once in a while, but that is pretty cool.
That is, because
Yeah.
everybody else is now is like, "Come back to the office," and I'm like, "No, I'm in the house that Texas made," as you can see in the back, right? I'm good
Let me throw them up at you.
that way.
So, guys, Nigeal, during the time that I've known Nigeal went to work, of course, in Allegan down in Waco. And then when I go home, I could visit her. And you know what? Then they transferred Nigeal over to Ireland. And she
I
was in
did.
Ireland for a while. So some of you guys that have questions about international work, you know, you definitely want to. Did I say that with a deep enough tone? You definitely want to connect with Nigeal Stokes-Fisher.
Definitely want to connect.
Yes, connect on LinkedIn. And you know, when we say connect, you know, we're thinking about LinkedIn. So, guys, connect with Nigeal on LinkedIn. And Nigeal is not afraid to help you and your mindset towards getting a new job. Getting that salary is the main thing. Nigeal and I like to talk about that. We get all worked up talking about these salaries, and they're over. We're not going to talk about how many years of experience
Mhm.
that Nigeal and I have, but over our existence and our
Right.
careers, we've noticed a great number of things, especially working in HR. And so that's what Nigeal and I are here to talk about. That's going to be our focus today, is getting what we need to get going in. Nigeal, where would you start this conversation? We got a bunch of job seekers all over the place
Uh,
that are listening to us talking, and we want to give them some excitement about going into that new job and getting that salary that they know they deserve.
let's give them some meat and potatoes,
Yeah,
right?
come on.
Let's just give them meat and potatoes. We're country, and so you guys, Sharon,
Yes.
Miz, everybody listening, you guys apologize for being country, but that's just me. I think we need to start with compensation as a package. It is not a salary. It is salary, it is benefits, it is bonus, it is
Yes.
401k match, it is PTO. Salary is not it. It's not everything. So we need to first of all understand that we're looking at a package. What does my package look like? I think if we teach people to approach it, the conversation from a package, it's less offensive than what will my check look like on Friday. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, totally.
and I think where they start is what salary am I getting? So it's like when you walk in the car and you say, how much will this car cost me a month? That's really not the question. The question is, what is the interest rate and the terms?
That's right. Wow. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be honest and say that let's focus on compensation as a package. Let's have an intelligent discussion around the package. And let's start with saying, so do you have a range? If you don't mind, will you share that? And then will you share the benefits? Because you can get the salary you want and the benefits are horrible. It's a high deductible plan. And now you realize you got the salary, but the benefits are twice as much as with your old company, and you've accepted this offer and not factored that into the scenario. So let's just talk about the package and start to put everything on the table. Do you have 401k match? What percentage of the 401k is matched? We need to know all of these things before we decide if the salary is adequate, not just the
Uh-huh.
salary. People tend to approach and they get stuck on the salary and then get in a situation that's not as favorable.
Wow. So, Nigeal,
Mhm.
When you get that range, if you are desiring a salary that is a little bit above that range, what would you suggest that job seekers do?
Tell the truth. So I'd be at the
Honest,
higher
yeah.
end of your range or slightly above the high end of your range, but let's talk about how we can make it as we get further in the process. Let's talk about how we make it work or how we might could work it work. In the beginning, I think, Foster, if I'm being honest, people start a job search and say, that's my job. I just want this job. They don't say, first of all, I want 3 offers on the table. Let's look at opportunities in threes, in multiples, and let's see what the different
Uh-huh.
packages look like, as opposed to just narrowing down to one. They just want to find that one and then say, okay, this is why this is the one. It's not. You're interviewing them, they're interviewing you, and you should always be approaching it from the standpoint of, I have multiple people who are going to be interested in me. And even if you don't feel that way, just lie to yourself. I have multiple job opportunities coming.
And
I
it'll
have
end up
multiple
being
job
true if you're
opportunities
in
coming.
job search. Yeah.
Yeah, because the reality is the more you tell the universe that, the more, you will have what you ask. That's what the Bible say. If you don't like it, I didn't write it, just talk to the man.
That's
But
right.
you should be feeding that energy into the universe and then walking around with the expectation that you'll receive it and that you'll have multiple offers on the table. I went into a multiple offer situation and I'm happy I did, because I got ultimately what I wanted, because I was able to articulate, here's what's important to me. And at the end they said, hey, you know what? We've got sign-on bonus. We've got these things that are hard stop, but Nigel, we can meet you there. And we're not that far apart. And I said, you know what? You're right. Right. But I knew that I wanted RSUs. I knew that I also wanted stock options. I knew that I wanted a higher bonus. So when the salary was slightly lower than what I wanted, they said, well, we'll make it up in, the sign-on bonus. I said, okay, because I got everything else I wanted. I got 100% remote. I got less travel than being in Ireland, and I still got
Yeah,
to
I
maintain the
remember. Yeah.
global presence. So you have to take all of those things into consideration. And that's why we want to say, look at it as a package, not as a number, because everybody's
Right.
walking around looking at the number, but not the package.
Absolutely. Nigel and I talk about something all the time, guys, and it is the truth. It is observation. It's not academic information that we have. Nigel and I, over our careers, have decided to follow what God says rather than what we're conditioned to hear every day from corporate America. We are in business, but here's the deal, guys. And I'm gonna get real close when I say this. God made everything. And you know what? If we follow his commands, if we follow his methodology, the world will fall in line with what God said. He made it.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna back up now.
No, you're good. I think we have to say, whether you're a Christian or not, that's between you and Jesus. You decide where you want to be. You can worship anybody you want, but I think we have to be honest and say, once he said, let there be light, and enacted certain spiritual principles in the world, they work whether you're a believer or not. So when people say, I see people that don't even believe in God and they're doing great and they have great opportunities, but look at what they spoke. Once he activated the principles, it works. You don't have to believe him for them to work for you. He turned them on in the earth realm, and he didn't put a condition on them. He just turned them on. So the fact that they're on, if you're walking around and you're a believer and you feel like you're getting less, then you're not using the principles. And you're saying, well, people that don't even believe in God, look at them. Yeah, but they're charitable. They're giving. They're fasting. They're doing
Oh
all the
my
little
goodness,
things that
yeah.
you should be doing, but you're not doing them. And you're saying, well, I'm mad with God. Well, he's just waiting on you.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very true. We've got a question from the audience. It says, how do you relate an hourly rate to compensation? The question that it keeps getting is, what is your rate?
Take your salary. So I'm going to give you the old HR way, right? When you do math, take your salary number, divided by 2080. That is your hourly rate. Your holistic salary, 50,000 divided by 28, I think it's $25, something like that. Simple math, right? That's your hourly rate, because everybody's expected to work 2,080 hours in a year. There's your rate. If you need a little bit more than that rate because you're working contract and you don't have benefits, well, then
Right.
factor that in, right? Obviously add a little bit more to it and then explain it. Here is my rate because it's not W-2, right? With benefits, then the rate would be this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to pay for those benefits, you know, those things that we get that Nigeal said at the beginning of the show. A salary is more than just the number that we're going to be paid straight out. You got
Absolutely.
benefits, you got comforts. We don't work, guys, to not be able to pay our bills is one thing that I always talk about. But you know what? We've got to have those benefits. We might have a family. We want to cover our family. We want time off. We want to know what our vacation is, things like that. These things fit in. And then there are things outside. When I went to Verizon, I got a free lifetime membership. Lifetime membership to 24-hour fitness. You know, there are things that you can ask for, and the sign-on bonus. I don't want to forget that, Verizon. Sorry if you Verizon people are listening to me. And that was a wonderful, wonderful job. And they took care of me on the front end. And you know, guys, here's the deal. If companies, I don't want to say they, I'm talking about corporate America, guys, you guys listening. If you guys want the skill set that we have worked hard over the years to get, show some respect. We are now, if we're coming to you, if you talk to a job seeker that's not being sensible with what they're asking, then you probably don't want to hire that person anyway. But you know, we want to show some respect and try to meet the demands of the person we're trying to hire, because when you come to work for my company, I'm going to get my work out of you. There are going to be situations, things, priorities that pop up and things that we didn't see that we're going to have to respond to. Nigeal worked in factories. She's been in manufacturing before. So in manufacturing, you run into a lot of things that fall under the normal HR scope, but then you got those things outside the HR scope that call for time, maybe on the weekends, things like that. You want to discuss this stuff with the company to find out what you're getting yourself into, and if that fits into what you're okay with.
Absolutely. I think you're 100% right. Mez has one question. Mez is 2080, not 2800. So the salary by 2080. I think this. You are familiar with your work environment. You know what it's going to take. You need to ask people, how are high performers rewarded here? Am I just working for you? And I had this thought yesterday, right? This 2 to 5% raise a year. Oh, you're a great performer. You're 2 to 5%, right? And if you're at the top, you're getting the 5%. Allergan had this thing called sprinkles, which I loved, right? Which was extra long-term incentive, right? Go with a company that has sprinkles. What do you do for the people that work great? Do you write rewards for them? And they used to write these great awards and tell everybody about the great job you did, whether it was team or individual. You need to understand how you're rewarded. A lot of people are going to lie, Foster, and say, oh, they're doing it. They just want to be told they did a great job. I don't. I want to see it in my check. I want to see it in my benefit. I want to see it in my rewards. I do not. Do not pat me on my shoulder. I can do that myself. I'm good there. Yeah, no, I do. I'm just like the CEO. Where is the money? How well did we do? If I was a part of that, I want my piece. We need to be honest in that. And women in particular, so I'm going to call them out because they don't. We make $1 million less over the lifetime of our career because we just won't negotiate. We just won't ask, right? And nobody knows that you're a single mom or you're divorced. If you don't act like the breadwinner of your house, if you don't act like the manager of your brand, they are not going to walk in and give it to you. They never will. If you take the very first offer, if you don't say, hey, is there any flexibility on this? And I'm saying do it diplomatically, right? Let's be honest. Let's have a diplomatic conversation, but let's just be straight to the point. Let's not hem and haw. Like I said, don't dance around it. Just say what you need. Hey, where I think I would be best suited is if the salary were here. I'd be more comfortable if the salary were here. If we could move it 5,000 to the left and possibly make up the difference in a sign-on bonus. Have that conversation. And that's your love language. Because honestly, my check is my love language.
That is the love language.
Yeah, I'm not here, just because. And that's honest, right? But people don't like to hear that. This is my love language right here. These numbers, because this is how I tell my children what we eat in the night, and not bologna and peanut butter and jelly. This is how we eat steak and shrimp. And Foster know that I just tell the truth. So if it offends you, we apologize.
That's why I love it.
All right, you need to be honest. You really need to be honest. in what you can live with, because if you can't live with it, in 6 months you'll be back looking for another job and explaining why
Absolutely.
you only stayed 6 months, right? You will be inherently unhappy. You will wake up starting to dread going into the office, right? You need to be honest about that. And if you want that stress, sign up for it. If you don't, you already unemployed. Wait until the offer that is your offer shows up for you, and it's okay for you to say no for the things that don't fit your life.
Now, here, let's take a scenario. Okay.
Yeah.
We take this job, and I gotta have a job. I had to take this job that's maybe $10,000-$15,000 less than where I wanted to be salary. Now, I've been in the job search. I've got my resume out there. I've talked to Nigeal. I've done all this stuff. I've been in the network. Well, you take the job. Yay, you got a job. We're all at South Lake Focus Group and Frisco Connect. We're all thumbs up and clapping. Yay, you got a job. But here is what is going to happen, guys. That job, that ideal job, is going to find you eventually. They're going to, you haven't even been looking. And then all of a sudden you get a call from somebody, and the salary that they're talking about is above what you were looking for before, because that company has priorities. And sometimes the companies never want to let you know that they're desperate, but in some cases, companies are desperate to find certain skill sets, guys. Now, you might have that skill set. God sets that kind of stuff up. Believe me, he does. I've been there. And this company comes and they offer you $25,000 or $30,000 more than where you are right now. And I'm just talking, salary. The other stuff is there as well. Vacation, all that stuff. You'll get around to it. But initially, we're talking about salary. What are you going to do?
You're gone.
Yeah, you're gone, guys. And corporations, y'all stop hiring people like that. You're not doing yourself a favor.
You're not. You make stuff for us to correct later, Foster.
Out of them. It'll be a blessing if you can even get 6 months out of them. You got Dr. Anissa Breaux, who's going to be with us talking about looking for a job later. And you know what? Dr. Anissa is going to be able to find what she's looking for. I'm going to help her if I can.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Hey. So anyway, I got tore off on that, Nigeal.
I think that's the realistic scenario. I think we need to look at the people who stay, though, Foster.
Yeah.
Think about the ones who stay.
Good
so
point.
Now you've taken your income backwards. So you were buying a house, and instead of my income progressing, it's gone the other way. Right? Now we've diminished everything in terms of our life, right? Because I think of HR as life management. I manage your salary, I manage your benefits, right? I manage everything about your life outside of home. Now you've just went the wrong way. And you're asking me, well, you're saying things like, well, God knew I had to have a job. No, you chose it. And let's just be right, because I'm a Bible Belt Christian, Dr. Anissa, so forgive me, right? The devil will send you things, and so will God.
It doesn't offend Dr. Anissa. Oh, no.
Yeah.
No,
right?
It does not.
Okay. So the devil sent you something because you told him you had to have a job. God was saying, just wait, because you were unemployed anyway. So if you were making it and skating by, just continue until what you need shows up. The job you chose was not what you needed. Now you're either leaving in 6 months or you're stuck, right? Because you feel like, oh, I'm obligated to be here for a year, 2 years, and you've spent 24 months making less than you should have. You haven't progressed. And because I will say this, you're not savvy enough to say when the job shows up at $30,000 more, they'll say, well, what were you making? And you'll answer that question instead of saying, well, that's not relevant. Let's talk about the market rate for the job and what I work for. Right? Because like I say, and my kids keep me hip, Dr. Anissa, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Well, that's the truth.
Right. And if you want to verify that, go look at the gas. Go check the price of bread.
Parents, are you being respectful with your with what you're giving your kids? I'm meddling. I'm sorry.
Right, because they just remind me, yesterday's price is not today's price. So what I would work for yesterday, the scenario that I would work for yesterday is not relevant today. It's not. What I did at Allergan and what they paid me has nothing to do with what you're going to pay me. So I really don't want to discuss that. That's in the past. Let's talk about the market rate and compensation for the role. And tell me, if you are a company that leads the market, do you lag the market, right? or do you stay on par with market? And it'll tell me everything I need to know about your
That's
salary
everything you need to
strategy.
know, honestly.
Right.
About working
Yeah.
there. That'll be the methodology that you will be facing, especially as a leader, guys. There's a lot of people that are listening to us that are in the C-suite. Okay, guys, let's be honest. We talk about a lot of things. Corporate America, when we get in corporate America, we play the game, we do all this stuff, and we think well of ourselves, but are we being real? There's the music. Guys, we're going to come back. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with Dr. Anissa Breaux. We're going to talk. Stay with us, Nige.
Let's do it.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feathershare Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Got a deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
All right. Guess who's back? We are back on the Jobfather. Well, guess what? We've got Dr. Anissa Breaux, and Dr. Anissa, in my estimation, is the compensation extraordinaire. I mean, she's the go-to person. She is the SME. SME is subject matter expert. That's what we like to say. And she is companies. Dr. Breaux's looking for a next opportunity. COVID got her, and she's looking for a next opportunity. Now, she was the head compensation person at one of my, the college that I spent the most time at, University of North Texas, Mean Green Eagles. All right. Let me see if I get my, you guys,
Dr.
you
Breaux.
other Mean Greeners out there, if I didn't get my symbol right, y'all go easy on me.
My daughter graduated from there in biochemistry, so go Mean Green.
Mez, that's listening to us right now, is a biochemical engineer. I love it. You smart people. I like when you guys listen to my show.
Yeah, they are smart.
You guys make sure and find Dr. Anissa Breaux, Breaux. You know where she's from when you see it spelled like that, right?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
You guys connect with Dr. Anissa, your companies, especially if you need a leader in compensation. So, Dr. Breaux, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking for in your experience, maybe some good experiences that you've had in your career at North Texas.
Absolutely. And actually, it's a compliance strategist. It's what my world is. Compliance,
What did I
regulatory
say?
compliance, and compensation.
Oh Lord.
It's okay.
Compliance, guys. I meant
Compliance.
I meant compliance.
No problem, of
I
course.
introduced Dr. Breaux to a very good friend of mine, Nancy Walker, who's a leader in compliance as well. The first thing that we did when I first met Dr. Breaux.
Yes, and I tell you, I have a passion for compliance. I really do. In my world of compliance, I've had to be a Jill of all trades. So even though there are subject matter experts, SMEs, I had to know those areas. So the focus being oversight, monitoring, training, and auditing in complex organizations, especially those with organizational leadership and development, is the focus. So compliance, even though you have a structure of compliance, it cannot be painted with a broad brush because every organization, every company is different. So compliance has to be approached in that way. There is a difference between legal compliance, audit, and the police as well. And those are my partners. Those are my partners. So when a lot of times when you have compliance and legal together, it's kind of like, well, what's the difference? The difference is compliance is where you go before you get in trouble.
Right.
Once you've broken the law, that's legal.
Legal. When you walk down the halls, everybody try to avoid you. Do they hide?
Oh, absolutely. One thing about regulatory compliance, and it really, compliance is about building trust. So I spent almost 20 years building the relationships I had until the pandemic happened. And it really hit the universities pretty hard. But the trust is everything. Trust building. When people trust you, they open up to you. And so that's key. You have to be approachable. People have to know that they can come to you and you won't hold it against them, but they have to also know that you're there to help them. But
right.
You can't after you've engaged in a crime, you can't say, help me. It's done. The law is broken.
Yeah,
but
you busted and you got the handcuffs on.
Well, wait a minute, Dr. Breaux.
Exactly.
You can say help me. We just say something different. It sounds like, well, sweet potato.
Well, yes, that's true.
Yeah. There are certain boundaries.
Yeah. You so trust. And so yes, in my experience, it's like, oh, here she comes, run, or oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell you this. And so I learned so much from just walking, just everyday life, walking, I would walk across the campus and I'd have people approach me that wouldn't necessarily come to my office. Even also, I think one of the most unique places is when I'm out and about in public, in grocery stores. I will have persons approach me, and that's where they felt most comfortable. I'm off the clock, but with compliance, you're never really off the clock.
Yeah.
Anissa,
you know what I hear you saying, and everybody's going to roll their eyes in their head when they hear me say this. But the one thing that I hear Anissa saying is relationship. Oh my God. Judy Wardle, are you listening?
They hate that word, Foster. I'm coming in for that one. Relationships. It just scares everybody.
I push that like there's no tomorrow.
My kids tell me now we have these situationships. You see my face?
I've been seeing your face for over 15 years.
What is that? You're either in a relationship or you're not.
Simple as that. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. It's simple.
Corporate America,
it's real.
You listening?
It's real.
It's real.
It is.
I know, Mez. I know that shocked you, guys. I refer to our friend Mez. She is our hype lady. She is the biggest supporter of this show that you will ever see. Her name is Meg Rose Caterio. And so if you ever want to connect with Meg, which you should do, then contact me. I'll get you in contact with Meg Rose Caterio.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, we cut you off, Dr. Breaux. You were on You were on a
Yeah.
BNSF
Well, I
train
want to
and you were
find her
going down the
next
track.
opportunity. What I want is for people to tell us who's looking for
Yeah.
a subject
Yeah.
matter expert or Jill of all trades. And when we say that, guys, there's nothing to be, because sometimes I refer to a friend as a Jill of all trades because it's master of many. Better to be a master of many than a master of one. So we gonna tell the whole thing. So being a Jill of all trades is not a bad thing. And we love our SMEs. We're appreciative and we're grateful for you. But it
Yes.
doesn't take away from those of us that do whose journey is a little bit broader, right? And our knowledge base is a little bit broader. So where is her opportunity, Foster? Who do we need to tell to hire her? Right? That's what I want to know.
Well, corporate America is going to be interested in that university experience that she has. There are plenty of corporations that support universities. There are plenty of corporations out there that their main clients are universities. So I'm thinking, with a recruiter hat, I'm not going to tell you how long I've been recruiting, but I'm thinking with that recruiter hat, I'm thinking, guys, many of you companies out there consider where Dr. Breaux's coming from and that she's a leader. She doesn't have to work in a university environment. She can come into your environment and set up your compliance in certain areas that you need and add value. Talk to her in the interview, Dr. Breaux, y'all. Talk to her in the interview about how it's going to get that done. I bet she's got ideas. Okay, Dr. Breaux, keep talking. Well, I cut you off. Me and Nigeal, we get excited. We start running our mouth.
Did we post her on LinkedIn? I want to do that. When we're done here, I want to say I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting Dr. Breaux, who's a compliance expert. And while she's been in university, if you need her at Ernst & Young, or you need her at, Willis Towers Watson, or you need her at, Price Waterhouse Coopers, or wherever you need her, reach out to her and have a conversation about how she can help you meet your needs. So we need to do that, Foster, when we're done.
Let's do that, Nige. Let's talk about that and let's get that done. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I do appreciate that, because I think that what's important is, and John Ernott last week on the show made this point. He said that companies need to diversify per se. Just because you're in a particular industry, when you just focus on one industry, you're really negating other persons that can bring certain perspectives and different values, and even have an influence in a positive culture that you may be trying to direct. And so that's been my observation. I really do feel like in my university setting, because I had the oversight and monitoring role, I was very much versed in so many areas, which is a unique opportunity. So even though there were areas of risk and environmental health and safety, I knew those areas. I had to know those areas to make sure that the gaps were not negated in any way, or that we were dotting our I's and crossing our T's, and that we would follow up and have corrective action. I think that's the most important thing. And so while audit may be the function of finance operation, compliance looks at the if you will, the results, the corrective actions, and where we need to go ongoing, and continued monitoring and improvement. So having that global perspective of compliance, or that experience, I really believe that companies should, as John mentioned, be more open, because it not only diversifies your organization, it creates a diversity within your organization.
And it's so a diverse knowledge skill set. Right now we're getting into different ways of doing the same thing, and we need to draw from that well.
Absolutely. And so that's the one thing. I like innovation. I like coming up with, if it's complex, I thrive on that. I have an eye for detail. And sometimes you have to know when to step back and have another set of eyes. So that's the collaboration as well, a different way of looking at things. I taught at the university level for about 16 years, upper level courses. So and my background is race relations with organization as the kind of the overall rubric.
Okay.
But I have so much now. I was very much involved in the EO process, so I know all the laws, all the HR, much of the HR laws. I mean, I had to. So that's why that whole Jill of all trades comes in, because where if the subject matter experts may be too close, then I can come in and say, here's where we're missing, here's where we're lacking, here's what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Anissa,
I
I
think
have
you
a
just made a
question.
great. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll get back to you, Nigel. I have a question. I'm a nerd and I'm digging into things. I'm thinking about your job. I know nothing about your job, but I'm thinking about what possibly could be a situation, a scenario in your job. So you're going along, you're providing this leadership, you're leading your team to make sure that we're getting everything we need to get done. So the government or whoever those regulatory authorities don't get us in trouble. So I know that there's change. And a lot of times you run into maybe somebody enacted a new law or something like that. In your experience, and I'm not going to say how many years, a significant experience, are those changes usually fair? Are they understandable?
That's a good question. They have to be understandable because they're going to impact the organization.
Yeah.
And so where there might be that you come to know those changes. So the law per se, laws change all the time. So you have to know when that law changes. You have to do an assessment. You have to look at your policies. And then you have to really, that collaboration with, let's say, legal comes into play.
Okay.
Because legal is going to know. Yeah, legal is going to know where we cannot be, because this is the law, so that change, it commands you. Anytime you have a new regulation, a new law, a statute, anything, it's going to have an impact on your organization that will have that change. Now, what challenge comes with that is communicating that for buy-in. That's
I
the
knew
challenge.
you were going to say that.
Because you can easily become, when I say easily become, you can easily become, meaning you as the compliance person, because you have to be a strategist, you become the target. Well, you're trying to tell me what to do. Well, no, these aren't my laws. What I'm trying to do is keep you from being handcuffed.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to protect the reputational brand of the organization. And also your reputational brand. Because go ahead.
One thing to think about now, I'm cheating because I know Dr. Breaux and I've heard her and I've watched her network. One thing that impressed me that I heard about Dr. Breaux was she, in her networking, we were talking about this very thing we're talking about right now. And Dr. Breaux said, I want to know for any corporation that I am interviewing with, what does the C-level, what does the decision makers in this organization think about my title at the position, and how do they approach me? Are they a part, or how has it been in the past? And when you said that, I'm like, okay. So you companies, basically what I'm saying is you guys need to embrace Dr. Breaux and not be scared of her. She's gonna, HR a lot of times, in Nigeal probably will chime in on this. We get a bad rap because, HR don't want us to do nothing. No, it's not like that. But there are wonderful ideas that come out of the C-suite, but sometimes those ideas will get us thrown in jail. You want to go to jail?
You know what? I think it's important that we understand that what Dr. Breaux does is significant to the organization is able to continue to do business.
Right.
So let's look at compliance as a business partner, right? I work in pharmaceutical manufacturing. I need to do exactly what I told the regulators that I do. When I don't do that, I need to explain the exception to the rule. And most likely, I don't need to use anything that I created that's an exception to the rule, because there really are no exceptions. And that's the reality. She's responsible for explaining those changes to us, making sure we adhere, making them palatable as much as she can. But she didn't make the rule. She's just telling us what the new rule is and the impact to the business. I think we need to normalize the relationship that we have said. It's a relationship with compliance. They are not our enemy. She's here to save us and to protect us and keep us safe. And it's a big job. And it's a very thankless job. I feel like it's one of the most thankless jobs in corporate.
You know it
But we
is,
need to, yeah, we need to normalize that she is our relationship partner. And one of the ones that you really want to have a good relationship with. Because sometimes they need to walk in there and say, can I, if I did, will we still be okay?
We need to check with Anissa on that one. Yeah.
I need to check with Dr. Breaux. Let me just call Dr. Breaux right quick and make sure, I'm not going to jail here.
One thing that reminds me as we're talking, my dad, of course, you guys know my dad was a pastor. He used to always tell the church, don't kill the paper boy. My job is just to bring the news. And you know what? Anissa's not responsible for what the nation has decided that the direction that we need to go in and what we need to be compliant to. I didn't say compensation, I said compliant. And you know what? That's not Dr. Breaux's deal, but it's Dr. Breaux's deal to bring it to us so that we'll know that if we step into this room over here, there's a big fire and we might burn up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's the important piece, Foster. If we just get people to see that, I think we'd be doing better. And to your point, the same thing with HR. We're not the police.
We're not the police.
We're not the police. Yeah.
Dr. Breaux, have you found university compliance to be different from any other compliance, or the basic modules the same thing?
So the basic the elements of compliance are the same. You can apply specific modules to the organization,
yes,
but organizations are different. The university compliance may operate differently than a specific corporation compliance,
right.
Because universities have so many facets within the organization. I mean, there's so many different areas, whereas with certain corporations, it may be specific, like finance and banking, but you can have let's say in a university, you're going to have the finance part. You're going to have the enrollment part. You're going to have the environmental risk part, environmental health and safety. You're going to have the academic side. You're going to have enrollment. You're also going to have the EO and many of the HR areas. So the universities are more of a kind of a mecca of compliance topics, whereas in some instances, in certain industries, it's very specific. But the key thing is all of those compliance. I mean, compliance transcends many areas. It can in any industry, and that's one of the things that I feel my experience has been, and my knowledge base is, I can take that knowledge base and skill and apply it to any industry. Because I know the laws. I know the framework of compliance. I know what it takes. I know the difference.
Yep.
I know risk management. I know assessment. So it's just I see my work in the university setting as so incredibly global that it can go in any particular area. I also served as the privacy and the HIPAA privacy officer.
I noticed that on your LinkedIn profile. Yeah.
So again, we have, again, a university may not be a medical school, but they have areas that function to provide healthcare services.
I got you. We got another question.
Okay, we got a question. Oh, yeah, I was going to ask him to put it at the bottom, Foster. I'm sorry.
Okay. Dr. Breaux, do you find that you're in your role, you're more accountable, provide more evidence than someone who has been non-compliant?
Well, I think now that's a very interesting.
That's an interesting question.
That's an interesting question. So here's the thing: a compliance officer can be held accountable. Like I said, I'm not going to jail for nobody. Now I'm telling you what you need to know, and I've given you the issue. I've given you the facts. I've given you the sanctions, and here are some solutions, some corrective actions. If you choose not to take that, then I have a duty to, again, raise that. But I'm not going to jail. You're going to go to jail because you should have known. And you do know because I'm telling you.
And
So,
you didn't enact the rules. You didn't make the rules.
No, not at all. So a compliance officer, that's where the ethics comes in.
Right.
That's where it becomes ethical.
Mm-hmm.
So a non-compliant person, it's really if you knew it, and this is a key question. When did you know it and what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
When did you know it and what did you do? That is
Absolutely.
so key. So that makes
That
a
is-
non-compliant person.
Yeah. That's pretty flat out. Now,
It really
Dr.
is.
Breaux, you were involved in university records as well, records compliance and things like that. If I'm remembering correctly, would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I served as the chief records management officer for the university, and in fact the university system. Well, we have, of course, the state has requirements as well as federal. There are federal rules for how you manage records. You just can't dispose of records. So there's a process. There is guidance. There are policies. There's retention periods. So those, a lot of things, many times companies think, oh, I can just dispose of it. No, not exactly, especially if you're dealing with global laws with respect to retention. So when we think of records, it really is what the creation of the documents, how we retain them, and how we dispose of them.
Right.
I don't believe that sometimes we think of it global, like, oh, I've got this and I've thrown it in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just throw stuff in the trash or shred it. There has to be some safeguards.
Dr. Breaux, is there a time limit? Is there a time limit for certain records, or does it vary from department to department? But I know in HR, Nigeal, how long do we have to keep resumes and applications on record now?
3 years.
Okay.
If it's interview and non-hire. If it's Dr. Breaux, you can tell me if I'm wrong. If we hired them, then we need to we just need to keep them for the life of the relationship, and then beyond that, I think it's 7 years beyond that. If I'm right, Dr. Breaux.
Yeah, it depends, because sometimes those laws, they definitely change from state to state. Some, like the state of Texas has some laws that when you specific retention periods for the different types of documents. And so and Nigeal, you're right. When you have if you have like unsolicited resumes, you may you like, they become, like, I believe, transitory. So that means that they can be disposed of. You don't have to keep them because they're unsolicited. Right. But when you have a hire, the retention period has some years to it. And again, if there's even, and a lot of it it really, to some extent, depends on how that record is created. But usually, and another thing, hiring records, so resumes, if a person is hired, that does have a longer period for the time that they have been with the organization. You have to retain it even after they leave. So it's absolutely, it depends. It really just, it depends. Yeah. It's unique. And people say, oh, I can just delete emails.
Yeah, Dr. Breaux, and please tell them, and the interview documents, don't throw those away.
Oh, that's a very good point. Any notes you take during an interview process, that's a record.
That's a record.
It doesn't matter if you scribbled it on a napkin.
That's true.
Put the napkin in the folder with the rest of the documents.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So people are like, I can't keep all this stuff. I can't. What am I going to? But here's the thing. You can make a copy of that record and make it electronic. Right? So if I scribble some interview notes on a napkin, I can make a copy of that. Scan it, or when I say copy, you can scan it in, or make it an electronic document, right? What happens then is you really have two documents. They mirror each other. One's electronic, one's hard copy.
I hear music. You know what that means.
That becomes your original. That's the retention period. This one you can dispose of. lot of people
Dr.
don't
Breaux,
know
we
that.
really appreciate you being with us. I've got to be rude and cut us off, or they're going to cut us off. I'm the compliance person now.
Oh,
Guys, welcome. And
thank
come
you,
back
Foster.
and see us.